Let's talk about Fateh.
Spicy.
Take two.
Yum.
Sono Sood's breakout directorial movie that features himself if he was a combination of John Wick and Denzel from Equalizer. Can he stack up to match these greats, or is your time better spent wishing for another Happy New Year? This movie is starring Sono Sood, Jacqueline Fernandez, and Vijay Raz. If you're into bad effects, questionable logic, and a hammer that slices somehow, then stick around, because this review's for you. Fateh follows Fateh Singh, a former special ops guy turned dairy farmer who goes full vigilante after a local girl falls victim to a shady cyber scam. With the help of an ethical hacker, because those are apparently easy to find, Fateh dives into the world of bad guys, big tech, and fight scenes. A movie so shamelessly derivative it might as well come with a copyright infringement lawsuit. We've got bullets that don't do damage, logic that took a vacation, and a hammer that thinks it's a sword. But don't worry, it's not all bad, because there's a pen kill that might just be the highlight of the movie. Let's start with what Fateh desperately wants to be: a fusion of John Wick and the Equalizer. From John Wick, it borrows the lone wolf hero trope, a tragic backstory, and the idea that anything can be a deadly weapon if you're angry enough. Like, say, a pen. But where John Wick is sleek and brutal and endlessly creative, Fateh fumbles the execution with clunky choreography and effects that make Nerf fights look realistic. Then there's the Equalizer angle. Fateh tries to position himself as a righteous protector of the helpless, taking down bad guys with moral conviction, but no over-the-top planning. Unlike Denzel Washington's meticulous takedowns, Fateh's approach is more Steven Seagal, walk at him, and fall down. The movie tries to combine the best of both worlds, but ends up with the worst: a hero who's neither as cool nor as compelling as his inspirations. First off, let's talk about the gunplay. Now, in most action movies, bullets do this magical thing where they actually hurt people. Not in Fateh. Here, bullets hit people, and like in Power Rangers, no damage is done, but the bodies flop to the ground in exaggerated ways, so that's cool. And there's this scene with Fateh using two hammers in a way that makes absolutely no sense to me. In what world is a hammer a slicing weapon? Did they sharpen it off screen? Did I miss the part where Fateh went to hammer blacksmith school? It's like using a fork to eat soup. Doesn't work. What really makes me not engage with the film is when they can't even get the basics right. There's this scene where Fateh casually strolls through a puddle of blood and walks off squeaky clean, like his shoes are apparently coated in Teflon because not even a single drop sticks. It's moments like this that take you right out of the story. Instead of being invested, you're just sitting there and asking yourself, did anyone in the editing booth even look at this scene before greenlighting it, or did they just send it? At one point, we're introduced to two Chinese cyber criminals, and how do they establish their foreignness? By having them eat noodles, of course. Yep. Apparently, the filmmakers thought the best way to scream, hey, these guys are Chinese, was to slap chopsticks in their hands and stick them next to the crime boss with bowls of steaming noodles. Subtle, right? It's such a tired, overused trope that it feels like it was plucked straight from a bad 80s action movie. Instead of fleshing out their roles or making them genuinely menacing, the movie opts for cheap visual shorthand that's cringeworthy as it is unnecessary. Now, one of the most baffling choices in Fateh is its decision to juggle two villains at the same time, Raza and Satya Prakash. Instead of building a compelling antagonist, the movie splits its focus, leaving both bad guys feeling half-baked. Raza is your standard cybercrime overlord, complete with vague threats and generic evil schemes, and well, Satya Prakash is there, I guess. The two villains barely interact and don't seem to share the same endgame, and exist purely to pad the runtime with unnecessary subplots. It's like the movie couldn't decide who should be the main bad guy, so it just threw both of them in and hoped for the best. Now, I'll give credit where credit's due. Despite all of its flaws, Fateh does stumble into a few moments of accidental brilliance. The pen kill, for instance, is genuinely badass. It's the one scene that feels like it belongs in a better movie, a brutal, creative takedown that made me sit up and go, okay, maybe this thing won't be so bad. And the background music deserves a nod too. It's surprisingly decent, adding some much-needed energy to an otherwise sluggish pacing. It's not exactly Hans Zimmer, but it does the job. But the real MVP? Fateh's computer-like wall hack. I don't know if this was meant to be a serious thing or a comedy bit, but watching him shoot through walls directly hitting every enemy without any recon or any gadgets, intentional or not, it's kind of ridiculous and you just have to laugh at it. So there you go. Fateh, the movie equivalent of ordering a steak and getting a microwave hot dog. If you're looking for a masterclass in action, steer clear, but if you want to laugh at a movie trying way too hard, this might be worth a hate watch. I'm gonna have to give Fateh a... three out of 10. Let me know in the comments if you've seen it and if your brain survived. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more reviews just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.